Welcome back. You're still watching Daybreak on this 9th day of November 2021. And I want us to focus on the conversation around the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority. Yesterday, there was a court order stopping KEMSA board from firing anyone or even deploying what they said KDF or NYS to work or to take over the positions of the more than 700 employees of that institution. But the confusion remains. And I want to begin with you, Honorable Elachi, because you come from the Public Service Ministry, and KEMSA says that they consulted the Public Service Commission, they consulted SCAC, the State Corporations Advisory Committee, and so many other institutions, including the Ministry of Health. But when such a thing is happening, is it just by the decision of KEMSA board, or are there other powers, hands that you're not seeing? Because senators spoke on Thursday and they were saying that the actions by KEMSA could be shielding certain powerful forces.
Well, let me now start as a Kenyan. The same Senate takes us through a very vigorous process. KEMSA has stolen money. KEMSA has done this on COVID. KEMSA has destroyed. Then KEMSA comes up with a solution. Again, you call them and you tell them, no, after we have spent public resources sitting and having a committee for 3 months, what you are bringing again is not a solution. Then I think somewhere we are not being honest to ourselves, whether we want to really deal with the issue and come up with better ways of doing it. Yes, you would say, oh, KDF is taking over, but has KEMSA sacked the workers? No. They were told to work from home.
But they say they have been blocked from accessing the KEMSA system, and some of the jobs they are being asked to do, like procurement officers,
yes,
can only be done at the office.
Well, I think they did not say, in the statement of KEMSA, it was very clear, those who are supposed to have essential services will be allowed to come to office. Now, if you really want to clean Kenya, by the way, let's not lie to ourselves. Oh, we are here, we are saying we want to clean Kenya, we want to bring good things for Kenyans. Do you know you will have to have very hard decisions to clean Kenya? Because what we have done, we have come in the situation in Kenya where we have a process where people feel, I am pensionable, and so I will be in work until the day I leave. It has destroyed many of our institutions, because there's nothing that urges you to do what is right, because after all, you know the labor laws will cover me, you know and I'm not saying sack people, no, I am not, that's not the right way, fine. But I am saying if indeed you want to restructure and bring back institutions to function, first of all, we need to know, are we giving Kenyans the right drugs? Have we stayed? Because if we had given these people an opportunity for 1 month, definitely they will give you a report and say, we have drugs in KEMSA that have stayed and are even now supposed to be maybe removed, maybe they are harmful, maybe, but nobody will say that, because I have worked there. It has been my docket for the last 20 years. Definitely, I won't do that. I won't say. And so why can't we allow to see how we restructure KEMSA without sacking people?
You want us to give KEMSA time?
Give them time.
Right.
We have vilified them. You have made the senior-most people, they are now in court. So if I am in court because of something I did in an institution, and yet you're not cleaning it up.
They've actually not been charged.
They have not been charged yet. But you see, you're investigating me. Am I safe? I don't know. You're investigating me, sir. My life has become a life where every day I have to be in court on this day. I have to look for a lawyer. But then, what is then the result of me going through that pain and you cannot clean where I have come from? What is the result?
Right, and Honorable Pio, and I remember there's a time we had this conversation here, and you were saying that Public Accounts Committee, you are yet to probe this matter, but it would come to you at some point. But there's no doubt there's a problem with KEMSA. In your view, what is the best solution out of this?
There are 2 issues here, from the way I see it. One is the matter of KEMSA and its employees.
Yeah.
On that issue, my position is very clear, that KEMSA can't be allowed to arbitrarily sack employees.
No.
And I hope they won't do so. That is one. Because employees must be protected as the law dictates.
Yeah.
Secondly, it is the issue of restructuring KEMSA in terms of management. We are living in extraordinary times, Sam. And extraordinary situations call for extraordinary measures. The kind of corruption that we have seen in this country, pervading almost every possible sphere, both public and indeed private sector, requires radical measures. And if it calls for the KDF and NYS to come and bring and restore sanity in the management of KEMSA and protect and safeguard public interest, I support it, so long as it is done within the law.
Why would you,
so long as it's done within
why
the
would
law.
you kick out professionals and bring in KDF? Never mind, they may have also the expertise. Why militarize institutions that are supposed to be civil?
Some. The KDF, the NYS are also comprising of serious professionals in all spheres. That is one. But secondly, for as long as the bringing in of KDF into KEMSA does not jeopardize their mandate, their common mandate of protecting our country against external aggression, and is done within the law to safeguard public interest, is something we should support. And there is evidence, there's empirical evidence, indeed, not very far, that where we have been brought in KDF, some sanity has prevailed.
Why can that be done by civilians?
Including our own Nairobi County government.
Why can that be done by civilians?
We have failed.
Civilians have been there all these years.
But they're the majority.
Some.
Yes.
Yes.
They have failed.
Anything that fails now, you want to bring
Nothing stops the government from thinking outside the box or of trying new approaches to addressing problems, so long as it is the best interest of the country. Okay? If it is the law that is curtailing that, then we can deal with the law, in my view. But we must be able to be ruthless to deal with this dragon called corruption, because it's everywhere. What is killing KEMSA, and therefore the entire supply chain of medical supplies in the country, is corruption, and we must face it. Really, I'm not saying it's only KEMSA where there's corruption, but it has been flagged out. Okay? And therefore, any measure that is going to deal with this situation and unclog the system should be supported by well-meaning Kenyans, all well-meaning Kenyans. Yes.
Honorable Kirwa, when you reflect on the reality that KEMSA finds itself in, and with all these proposals flying here, and what KEMSA board is doing, in many times, and you've worked in government as a Minister of Agriculture, and I think also as an Assistant Minister previously, many times you'll find that it's the senior management that is involved in some of these dealings and illegal actions. But now when you have to subject every other employee to pay the price, is it a fair thing? And what is your proposed solution out of this for KEMSA?
I'm worried the Honorable Andai is supporting that the military should enter an institution that does not seem to have any straight dealings. The last time I knew in terms of government, running of government affairs, is that you could have done special audit after the president gave the promise that something was going to be done within KEMSA. That should have been followed by serious special audit, which is multifaceted in terms of professionalism and in terms of institutions. And by now, we would be told the story, what happened in KEMSA. And if that fails, we should be able to do forensic audit. The billions that were lost cannot be protected by just putting the NYS or KDF. But more important, I think we need to look at this issue in a very holistic way. Workers, like 600 of them, may not even know what happened in KEMSA. And even the NYS boys and girls now surrounding KEMSA do not know exactly what happened in KEMSA. That issue is within certain individuals who have been interviewed both by the National Assembly committees and the Senate. And we should get the truth from there. Pretending that doing all this is what I call hogwash, or it's just a shifting of chairs to buy time, and we hope that Kenyans will have something bigger to think about next year than just about KEMSA. So I feel it is within the ambit of the government to follow this issue by doing an audit. We have enough auditors. I'm not questioning the integrity and the professionalism of our military boys and girls. They are professional, but this is not their mandate. And we cannot put military everywhere. And that's why there is separation of powers. The military have their duty. The NYS, they have their duty. We, as civilians, we elect government, and that government must perform.
An audit report on KEMSA 2018-2019 showed that they had a staff size of 741, but what is approved is 341. Yep. So meaning there was an excess employment of 450. Some of them could be ghost workers. Some of them could be, you know, how people can get into a government organization without following procedure. So what would be the solution, knowing that this is a real problem that KEMSA board has to deal with? Whether they like it or
but
not?
That's not staff rationalization. Those who know a lot about human resource, and I happen to be one of those, is that you don't rationalize staff by sending them home. You must identify whether the competencies within the staff.
The audit reports found that the approved staff establishment is 341.
Yes.
But there were 741 employees at the time, meaning they may have employed without following due procedure. How do you deal with that?
You deal with the culprit. Those people did not employ themselves. There must have been somebody who triggered the employment button. And therefore, you deal with that particular person. Instead of sacking innocent Kenyans, deal with the person who did that, then rationalize. Once you employ somebody, you just don't send them home. Look for a package that can allow them not to be at KEMSA, but to be properly severed in terms of operations of KEMSA, but not by sending people and bring NYS.
That package you're talking about will still end up them being rendered jobless, isn't it?
Well, they can be jobless if the process was convoluted from the beginning.
Okay. And Honorable Kenan, Parliament, through PIC of the National Assembly and through, is it the Senate Health Committee of the Senate, they have investigated, filed reports. They are yet to be adopted by the two houses of Parliament, but the Senate spent some time last Thursday in the afternoon to speak about this. Is Parliament coming up as weakened in addressing such matters because you've considered those investigations not yet adopted as reports of the House, yet you still continue to clamor for action by the authorities and it's not happening?
I think that's a good question. First of all, the issue is in court. And therefore, I'll be very careful not to delve very much, because there is a rule of sub judice, very much into the pros and cons of the court case, so that later on we are not sucked into the court arguments. That's one. Secondly, KEMSA is a semi-autonomous government agency operating, I think by its own, my friend here is the chairman of PAC, I think operating under the KEMSA Act. That's second. Thirdly, it's also known that over the last few years, KEMSA has had challenges. I was the chairman of PIC in the last parliament, and KEMSA was on, actually, ideally, KEMSA is supposed to be one of the most vibrant Class A parastatals. But because it was deviled with these serious administrative challenges, by now what I expected, after His Excellency the President gave instructions the other day, and that instruction, actually, people should not have even waited for the instructions.
Which instruction?
That all those who are involved in the mismanagement of KEMSA ought to have been investigated.
Honorable Kenan, it's not the other day. It was 26th of August, 2020.
Let me finish this. You have asked me a question. Allow me to respond.
Yes, respond.
That instruction, actually, people should not have even waited. The government agencies, the concerned government agencies actually should not have even waited for His Excellency the President to give, instructions. No, they should have acted. KEMSA has a problem. KEMSA is sick. KEMSA has been run down. What has happened? Why are these people who have done this, the board members, the management, and all the other people who are involved, why are they still scot-free? Why have they not been named? Why have they not been shamed? Why have they not been arrested? Why have they not been prosecuted? So right now, the issue of involvement of the military, in my opinion, it still remains a rumor. It still remains a rumor. We haven't had any statement from the Kenyan Defense Forces. I'm yet to see. We are yet to get a proper statement. I was looking at the statements coming from KEMSA, from the ministry, and this.
KEMSA confirmed, the board chair, Mary Mwadime, confirmed that NYS will be deployed.
But that is not KDF.
KDF, she said.
Yes, that is not KDF. That's what I'm saying. I didn't mention. Give me a minute. I said I haven't had the issue. You know, KDF is our pride. Luckily, I was also the chairman of Defense. It's one institution I'm very, very, very proud of. And at any given time, I will stand firm to protect the image of Kenyan Defense Forces. That is one sacred institution that we must not at all bring into our petty politics.
So is there anything Parliament...
allow me this. So the issue of KDF involvement as of now is a rumor.
Okay.
NYS, I've seen this. Was it administrative? Were they called to do some casual job? Because those are, you know, the people we train at NIS, ideally, and many of us have gone through this, the Form 4 leavers. And that is one step towards preparing them actually for their final profession, you know, to different organizations. So bringing them to this might be good, because some of them might end up in KEMSA. But I think one thing that we must not allow at all, and I will say this, and I want the Minister for Health and the individuals concerned to hear this, we will not allow innocent employees of KEMSA to be sacrificed simply because institutions have failed to meet their organizational obligations. Those individuals who have run down KEMSA must be arrested. So allow me, spare the innocent workers at KEMSA. We do not want them to be sacked. We do not want them to be declared redundant. We do not want them to be punished collectively. I think somebody that say this. If there are elements, because criminal responsibility is individual, it's personal. If there are elements within the structure who have committed, who have alleged to have committed this, let them be picked, let them be prosecuted, let the organization be restructured, and we want to see in the next few months KEMSA back to its feet. On the issue of Parliament, I think Parliament has also failed. We must say this. Parliament has failed. Parliament has special facilities. Luckily, I was all of the sponsor of, I think many people condemned me at that particular time. You enjoy immunity. Chairman of PAC. When you chair PAC, you have that delegated authority. You act just like the speaker. Nothing stops you in interrogating everything concerning that particular organization. In fact, PIC, by now, the report that they have tabled, I've looked at it, should have had charge sheet of individuals with all the allegations. You don't just recommend another agent. That is not what I used to do. If there is issue and we realize there's culpability, we'll pick your name and say these are the charges against so and so, and nobody else. By the way, the issue of youth fund, look at the court decision. It's exactly what we recommended in the PIC. That one step. So I see some generalities. Those generalities are not good because it opens up another avenue for delays for this. So that report, and I want to ask, and I know we are convening today, that report of PIC is before the House. I don't want to speak for the House.
All right.
But I'll be among the people in the afternoon who will be agitated, who will be really saying that this report of PIC should be passed.
Okay.
But that notwithstanding, where is the report from DCI, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, the DPP, the police, the Office of the Auditor General, KEMSA? Please, for God's sake, bring the report, let those individuals be charged. We want to see them in court, let them be barred, let them be dealt with, so that serves as a lesson to the people of Kenya.
All right.
But then, let me just talk about...
No, but we are running out of time.
Let me talk about NYS. I think NYS works with governments. NYS is not paid salary by KEMSA. Those young people have gone there on their duty or based on the policy where they normally work in different government institutions to learn. So we cannot say that NYS has now come to take over any job. They are there to assist KEMSA to ensure things work just the way they work at the airport, just the way they work at, and they are not paid. Because they are still on training.
Because they are paid indirectly.
You come from the...
Well, they are given an incentive, but they are not paid a salary.
Honorable Elachi,
they are not paid a salary.
Honorable Elachi, you come from the ministry, the parent ministry of NYS, so you would know, obviously, we have the details. What are the NYS servicemen and women going to do at KEMSA?
What have they been doing at the airport?
No, I'm asking about KEMSA.
Exactly. The same way they've been assisting you to do things at the airport, the same way they will assist KEMSA. It is part of just adding up on what KEMSA would want to see.
The question I'm asking...
And by the way, they bring in...
KEMSA's work is procurement, warehousing...
No. KEMSA, exactly. So they will help you during distribution. You can trust those young people. They will show you, I mean, in terms of distributing, they will do it the right way, and you'll get what you want. I know what KEMSA wants. They want to see, we've been distributing drugs. Have we been losing drugs?
Okay.
NYS will not take any of your drugs. If they are supposed to go on a truck going to Isiolo, they will put it the right way.
Yes. The panel is very
yeah, because these are young people. By the way, they are just patriotic in terms of their work.
Right.
And they work genuinely without thinking, I can carry this. But somebody else will be thinking, I am taking deliveries. They are going to Isiolo, 10 boxes should remain somewhere in Karatina as the rest. You will not get that from our young boys and girls of NYS. They will do it genuinely for the country.
Well, the challenges that KEMSA is having to deal with, the matter is in court. There is an order stopping KEMSA from employing any NYS or KDF members to do the job at KEMSA. We'll wait to see what happens. The mention is on 16th of November, which is next week on a day like today, Tuesday.